December 31st, 2025, New Year's Eve. I'm out here with my beautiful wife behind the camera there, and we're gonna do some trail clearing. We had a windstorm, an ice storm, and some trees came down. This one came down before that, so it's coated in ice, but I brought out my trusty user axe, and I'm also gonna do some blasphemy and swing this highly collectible and valuable one. And if I get a big log to move, we're gonna use this. So this is a pulp hook I have here. This is a vintage Snow and Neely, Bangor, Maine. Can you see that on there? And it's got the twisted forge here, which is super cool. I tried poking it in this wood and it's really frozen. So that doesn't bode well for my axes. This axe here is the one I use all the time. If I break it, that's okay. It's a council tool, double bit. I think it's a sport utility version. My sheath on there is a Badger Claw. Bring that in here. Badger Claw. He does really nice work. They custom make these double bit sheaths, and they're super heavy duty, and they're a little pricey, but really worth it. It's a very fine product. And I have, I think, a 30 or 31 inch house handle, which it works well, and it was cheap, but I've chopped with it enough that I think I'd like to upgrade to something a little thinner and nicer. And I have some TD handle ready to go in the basement. So here's the axe. Not the original hang, of course, and not the best hang because I did it. But I have my keen edge here, convex grind, and then my stunt edge. I left it factory and put a micro bevel on. I've used it quite a bit, so I do have a little nick in there, but that's okay. It's just for getting stuff started. So I'll probably start on this log with this axe here because I really don't want to chip the other one. This log, I believe, is a red oak. It's punky and it's been down for a while, and it is covered in ice. So we'll see how it goes. The council can take the abuse for sure. Very good axe for the money. All right, this other one here. Beautiful white oak handle. You want to look at the handle here. Beautiful white oak handle. You can see the rays in the bottom of the palm swell. And it's in a weaver sheath, nothing fancy. I'm not a huge fan, but it will fit basically any axe, so any double bit. This was a gift from my good friend Howard Webster. Thank you, Howard. This is one of my favorites in my collection. If you know, you got the whole axe in there. That's a Maine diamond die. This was hand forged in Maine. It is a Spiller, Oakland, Maine. Beautiful axe. Temperer's initials here, we have E and W. I've never seen two. Can you see that? And the year is very, very faint. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera, but it is 1930. I put a quick micro bevel on. It had some nicks. It's clearly been used. It has uneven toe wear on this side and a less full bit, but I think it'll work. The hang is a little loose, and this handle I believe is original. It could be a Tatum because it looks a lot like an ENS I have with a Tatum on it. So I will swing this carefully today, understanding the risk of cold weather chipping this bit or snapping this handle, which is, if either of those things happen, I will be sorely upset. So wish me luck. And I think I'm gonna get going with the council. So let's get started. All right, so safety first. I know I look like a dork wearing these giant clear eye pro, but at least I can see in the mirror how dorky I look. because I was out chopping a few winters ago by myself up on the Long Trail, and we're in northern Vermont, if I didn't mention that. And I was chopping a hard maple that came down, and I was wearing iPro. I originally wasn't, and then I put some on, and I got a chip probably about that big, blasted me straight in the iPro, and it hurt even through the iPro. And if I wasn't wearing this, I don't think I'd have that eye. So I decided then that I'm not going to chop without iPro. So I would say it doesn't look as cool, but you're going to see. So safety first, folks. So I want to talk about when we're clearing trails, where you want to choose to buck a log. And that's different depending on how big the tree is. If you have knots or branches on it, and where the trail goes through it, and if it's off the ground or on the ground. So typically you want about a 3-foot section width, and obviously I'm not going to make a 3-foot notch. So with a larger tree like this, sometimes I will do 2 notches kind of close together, and I won't get that full 3-foot width, but I'll give myself wider than my hips to walk through. And that's just to make it so I don't have to notch 2 separate notches and pull the log out. I'll make 2 notches decently sized, maybe a couple feet apart or 1.5 feet. And then as I'm working them down, I'll connect the 2 and get all the way through the log. For this one, that might be what I do, what I decide to do here. Because I have this giant, I don't know if you can see it from that side, but I have a big branch scar here that's coming out, and I definitely don't want to chop through that because the grain is going to be running all over the place, and it's going to be very difficult to chop. So I look at the log, I try to pick the clearest point with no branches or branch scars to chop my notches through. And typically I start at the top and go all the way through. So I'll make 2 smaller notches and connect them. I don't side buck where I stand on the log and go at one side and the other side. I typically work from the top. That's just my preference and my experience. Definitely don't want to be standing on an icy log, even with my micro spikes, because that's a little dangerous. So I think I'll try here first and see how it goes. If it's too tough, then I'm going to decide to move below this branch scar and just make a smaller notch here just to clear a path. But hopefully I don't break my axe. So when it's cold like this, if your axe is cold, you can risk breaking it. So what you want to do is set it in your armpit or something like that in your coat for a little while and just warm it up. Camilla's laughing behind the camera, but it's true. You want to warm it up before you put it in this cold wood, because it can, you risk shattering the bit if you don't warm it up. So if you're cold, they're cold, folks. All right, we're gonna get started here. Do a little swamping. Definitely red oak. Come take a look at this. You can see the rays in there and the deep red color of that wood. And this is actually chopping nicer than I thought it would. lot of shock from that frozen wood. There we go. Nice chip, but I couldn't see this on the trunk. Look at that. Right in the center of my V, a nice knot there. That knot is what's given me the shock. Bye-bye. I'm out of breath. I haven't done any exercise in over a month. At the end of hunting season, I got COVID. It was useless for 2 weeks, and I'm still have a cough and some stuff in my lungs. So I'm pretty tired already, and I'm maybe a third through this oak. But check this out. So I got my notch going. I started it too small. I had to back it out on this side because I have this other oak right here in the way of my swing, and it's coming along. I got through that knot. Looks like I got another here, but I'm gonna switch over and test out the spiller. So I'm kind of nervous. I'm gonna do a couple light whacks and see how that goes. Oh! I've never swung this axe before. Wow! Night and day between that council and this spiller. Holy smokes. Whoa! This isn't even sharp. Wow. I guess Maine knows what they're doing. Wow. Oh my God. And I'm not putting any power into those. I'm scared to, because I don't want to break anything, but this isn't even, come look at this. This isn't even sharp. I've got nicks in there. I touched it up with a file to get them out a little bit, but can you see those? And it's just sinking into this frozen oak. Wow. Holy shit. They say best axe ever made. Spiller. Unbelievable how much better. Oh, just hit the heartwood. Got a little shake. I see a pin knot in there too. These are worth it. These are worth it. If you can get your hands on a spiller, do it. This is frozen red oak, and it's like just pounding through this with, compared to the council. Watch, I'll take a couple swings with the spiller and then a couple swings with the council, just so you can see the difference. You had a good point there, love? Yeah. It just slices right in to that frozen wood and pops chips out like every swing or every other swing. That is crazy. And this is the keen edge on my council, which I've always said are great axes, but look at the difference. And keep in mind, I already cut through some of that stuff with the spiller. I guess this is working too. All right. I guess they're both good axes, but I like that spiller more. I think we're at the center of the log, so it's probably not frozen in there. That's what's going on. All right, all right. They're both good. They're both good. Here, come whack with the council.
I've never chopped before.
Well, you got it.
Hold on.
There you go.
Kind of. Nah, I'm ruining it.
No, you're not ruining anything. There you go. Look at those chips.
I'm not wearing eye pro.
Oh. Safety first. Regular old lumberjill.
Hold on. Okay.
Wow. No, it's all right. It's all right.
And then do I switch out my hands when I go this way?
Yeah, I do. Feels a little different, huh?
It's way worse.
Yeah. That's your weak side.
I hate it.
That's all right. Bring that top hand all the way to your bottom hand. There you go. All the way. Touch them. There you go.
It didn't go where I wanted it to.
That's okay. You get practice, and that's how you learn.
What the?
There you go.
I don't want to run it.
It's wood versus steel. You're all right. Woo!
Woo. No. I'm terrible at this.
No, you're not. You're doing really good.
Oops.
Oh, careful. Careful. Look at those chips.
No. I hate it. I'm terrible at it.
You're not terrible. You're doing great.
This is fun.
Yeah, this is fun, huh? What do you think of the council?
It's an axe.
Sure is. The notch is getting close to closing up. So, bring it in. So, the notch is 2 V's that you cut into the wood. You want to aim for a 45-degree angle. Where you start, the width that you start is going to determine where those two meet. Wherever they meet in the log, you can't chop through that anymore without doing what we call backing it out. So you see I have this horizontal strip here. They haven't met yet. When they meet, it'll come to a V. It'll be 2 notches that just come to a big V. But I'm getting real close, and I don't think I'm going to make it through the log completely before that meets. And if that happens, you have to back it out. So backing it out is just taking the axe, coming up here, and widening the width between the top so you can shave off more. So if I come in up here at a 45, follow that line down, you're going to remove all that wood there, and it's going to widen this horizontal section so you can make it through the log. I'm going to go until these meet, and then I'm going to back it out. Oh, you hear that big crack? Did you? Oh. It's about to break. So I have a weak side and a strong side. When I'm finishing a log that's suspended, I will bring it this way. Let me see the camera actually. I will cut the far side of the notch, that V, in a little bit, and then I'll step over the log and start working on this side. So that's what I'm going to do now. And they're pretty much met, so I am going to have to back out. So all right, Camille's working on my back out here.
This is an axe.
That's a spiller, Camilla. Come on. Put some
You
respect
can tell,
on the name.
You can tell it's an axe because there's an iron bit and a wood bit. And you gotta make sure not to hit with the wood bit. Very important you hit with the iron bit.
Solid advice.
And there's a sharp part and a not so sharp part. Thank you. Make sure you look cool. Yeah, you're welcome. Which part?
Whichever one. The Maine axe and tool page is gonna freak out seeing me let my wife swing a 1930s spiller diamond die into frozen red oak. You won't. It's all right if you do. They're made to use.
I'm sorry.
The man who tempered that axe would be more than happy to see a beautiful woman out sinking it into some frozen red oak. I'm sure this is what he intended.
I already want to apologize to the Maine axe friends.
Okay.
I apologize to you.
Noted. I'm gonna back up a little bit.
Also, you wish. Wait. I don't know what I'm doing. Oops.
Good, look at that. Here, switch over to this side. It's your strong side. There you go.
Oh, I do like this one better.
Yeah.
Whoops. And that's how you do it.
Okay. Beautiful spiller. I backed it out, widened that notch. Now that horizontal section's wider. Not too many more whacks and it's gonna drop. So we're gonna try and get that on camera. "95-year-old axe." Woo! Oh, that's froze. Okay, so I've got to get this log out of the trail. We finished that cut, and I'm learning from my mistakes instead of rushing into it. I've measured out and marked where I want to start a much wider notch here. Hopefully that's going to be wide enough. We'll see. But I think I'll start 2 small notches at first and then bust out the middle and connect them when I'm in the log. So let's see how this one goes. It's really frozen on the outside. It just slung the axe right back at me. This is the method I should have used for my first cut. 2 smaller notches. I keep working these down until I have a place to work this off just with a couple swings. I might be there already. It's kind of like hewing. If you see any hewing demonstrations, like there's a great one by a man out of New Hampshire, Dan Dillner, from tree to beam. And basically this is that same method, except he's standing on the log and doing it on the side. So you make a series of notches in the log on the side, and then you come through, instead of chopping at 45s, you're coming through to bust off that mound. And that's what I'm gonna do here. And what this does is it makes it so you have a greater width in your notch. However, if you start your notch super wide like this, even though you sever the fibers on both sides, a chip that's a foot and a half long is not gonna pop. Maybe unless you're a timber sports guy, but I'm not. So making 2 smaller notches, those smaller chips will fly, and you can kind of just chip away on 2 smaller parts and then bust this big piece out all together. So I'm gonna clean this notch up a little bit more, try to give myself some room, and do a couple power whacks and see if that knocks loose. All right, let's see.
Woo!
There we go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's the mound. There, we can make a serving platter out of that. That's what we're going for right there. Those are the chips we want. Nice big ones. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Woo!
That's what we're talking about right there. This side's giving me some problems. We have some bore holes here and a big fat grub popped out too, but in this heart area and where these bore holes are, you can see the stark color in here. This is moisture in the log that's frozen. So the axe is having a really hard time biting in, so I'm beating the snot out of it and not getting very far. So hopefully I'm almost through it. But I've done this whole notch with this 95-year-old spiller, and I've been beating the crap out of it, and it's holding up like amazing. Couldn't be more impressed, and I wasn't gonna take it out just because it's such a collectible piece of history. It's literally almost an antique, but I'm so glad I did, because what an awesome tool here, and awesome piece of history. And that's what these were used for, you know, that's what this is meant for. So can't be more impressed with it, and feels really cool to swing it. This is my first time ever swinging it, and it's doing some great work for me. So send me your spillers. Rest in peace. All right, folks, I've got an old white oak candle for sale. Needs a little work, but would make a great wall hanger. Came off of a 1930 spiller, could be original. think it's about 29, 30 inch. Nice palm swell, white oak, you see the rays. A little bit of split there, but you could dowel that, right? I almost chopped this, and 2 minutes ago, I said, I can't believe this hasn't broke yet. And Camilla said, do you like that handle? I said, I love this handle. And she said, well, why are you using it? And I said, because I love this handle.
Send him your spillers.
And a new handle. Ray from TD, I need a new double handle, please.
Best handles.
Should I keep swinging it?
No.
Come on. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right, we're retiring the spiller.
Rip.
And back to old trusty. All right, I think it's almost done here. That dark wood is giving me problems. Here. Watch your eyes.
Ooh.
All right. Not my cleanest chopping. Oops. But there she is. Holy.
Good work.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna use the pulp hook. There it is. It only cost me that beautiful oak spiller handle, but I knew better. What do you think, love?
That was fun. Lumberjack. Wow.
All right, thanks for watching.